Getting Ready for a Pre-Suit Divorce Without Attorneys, an episode from the series Mediating with or Without Attorneys with Tye Bourdony. Hello and welcome in this Instant Mediation podcast. And I am Natalia Olowska-Czajka, advocate, mediator and arbitrator from Warsaw, Poland.
And I'm Tye Bourdony, a professional mediator and primary mediation trainer. I'm an arbitrator as well from Orlando, Florida in the United States.
It's great to have you, Tye, again with us. And you have prepared a very interesting topic, which I think might answer a lot of doubts in many people who are considering this very important and very tough decision in their lives.
Yeah.
Is it possible, and should parties try to use a mediator to get a divorce?
Okay, so wonderful question to start off with, and the answer is maybe. Right? It is a good process, that is a pre-suit divorce mediation, meaning before anything is filed with the court, at the very least in Florida, right? Parties can meet with a mediator, and because either way, if there are any issues with property distribution and or children, right, then you need either a marital settlement agreement and or a parenting plan and or both. You will be sent to mediate with a mediator. When I was the staff mediator, right, parties will have filed, and then eventually the court will order them to come meet with us in our department before they would then move on forward through the process. So when I left, I did so many mediations with pro se parties, that is individuals who weren't represented, that I realized, for those parties that can do this, that is, that can meet in mediation and are able to work through their issues amicably, it can be a very good option, because when you file, right, you would then be, after we've mediated, before the parties will have filed anything with the court, we will have gone through whatever mediated agreements they need. Again, either a marital settlement agreement for property and or a parenting plan for minor children and or both, including child support calculations and what have you. And then those can be included in the package, so to speak, when it's filed, and then you bypass the process, whereas it would then take several months at the very least, depending on the courthouse and different circuits, to get to mediation, and then from there to get to the judge or the magistrate. And so I would tell you it's case by case, right? Not every case is suitable. I'm sorry, one last thing. Everybody will always benefit from getting legal advice. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And getting back to the real topic of today, so getting ready for a pre-suit divorce without attorneys. So can a pro se, so unrepresented party, mediate before a divorce case is filed with the court?
Yeah, you can. And you can do it before and or after. Doing it before, so an experienced mediator, right, knows all the questions to ask you, knows how to get those agreements that the court needs done properly so that the court will accept them, right? And so someone like myself who I was a staff mediator, and I know how to do them. I know all the questions to ask, and I know I have the experience to help the parties with those issues. It can be done, but again, it's never a bad idea to speak with an attorney, right? I, as a mediator, cannot give legal advice. By the same token, I am not going to serve more than one function. I will be the mediator. I'm not going to prepare the documents for court. I can't represent anyone. And so parties, I'm very open about that. And if it's right for them, right, if they are not fighting about every single thing, but rather they believe that we can amicably get together and figure this out, the process can be faster, and it can be more affordable, right? However, they can bring attorneys with them if they want. right? Always welcome. And they should get a consultation before they come, because then they're going to have an even easier time understanding what their rights are, what the court might or might not do, and then they can have a better time communicating and mediating.
Tell me, please, what kinds of family cases or parties are better suited for a pre-suit mediation?
It's the parties, right? It's, can they be amicable? Can they work together, right? To get through the process. Some people can and some people can't. This is one of the worst times in people's lives. And for instance, it's refreshing in a way when I see parties, for instance, who are divorcing and they have minor children, but when they're talking about the kids, they do the right thing. They can agree on what is in the best interest of the children. And it doesn't happen enough, to be quite honest with you. But by the same token, when we're going through marital settlement agreement, what's going to happen to the house? What's going to happen to the marital debts? What about alimony? What about distribution of a pension or an IRA in retirement? Those issues can be very contentious to parties, right? And any one of a number of things, and it's case by case. Everyone is different. So if parties can work together, pre-suit mediation is a great way to do it. By the way, you also need to have the right mediator, right? And I always tell folks, I think my opinion would be, after we're done, get an attorney to just represent one of you, if you agreed upon everything, right? Because you've never been through this process before. What happens when you go to court? How do you file? Who files? What if there are questions? I can't call them for you. I can't represent you. I'm not going to go to court for you. But you're an attorney that represents one of you. Once everything is agreed to, nothing can be changed unless the parties agree to change it. But what that attorney can do is make the process easier, right? You're going to be nervous. You're going to be less nervous because if you have questions, they can answer it. They're going to go in front of the judge. They're going to take care of everything for you, and it will be done as fast as possible. An attorney can, as per the statutes in Florida, can get a party in front of the judge for final judgment or a magistrate incredibly faster than you can if you're on your own. If you file without representation, that's fine, but you're in line with everyone who has filed when you filed, and depending on the courthouse, it can take months, right? And it's case by case. So there's different answers. Some people, yes, but not everybody.
Thank you. And tell me, what sort of benefits can this pre-suit divorce mediation bring to the parties?
Yeah. Well, it could be a lot more affordable, for instance, right? Getting a consultation from an attorney is different than hiring an attorney and giving them a retainer, right? And so if the parties are informed and the parties come to mediation, the only thing you're looking at are the mediator's fees. But even if you hire an attorney, right, and you bring them with you, let's say everybody's simply more comfortable with attorneys, great, do it. But you're only paying an attorney to give you the consultation, to represent you through the mediation process, not to litigate, right? Where does it get expensive? Litigating a divorce case, that's where it gets expensive. The more depositions, discovery, preparing for trial, going to trial, that is where people really, really spend a lot of money and time as well. Some people need that though. If that's what you need, pre-suit mediation is not going to be good for you. Don't worry. Follow your attorney's lead. You will go to mediation as per the order of the court. It's going to be different in different states. In Poland, I'm sure there's a different process as well. But for those parties, for those cases that fit into the mold of people can work together, right, in an amicable setting, they can get through it faster and they can get through it much more affordably and with a lot less headache. But again, it depends on the parties, right? Because it's different for everybody and it's very stressful.
And in terms of just, is there like a special queue? This is what you mentioned for people who decided to have everything done outside of the court and present a mediated settlement agreement to the court as a ready setup, as a ready option for divorce. So is it like a special queue, as a special order, special line that they go and is faster?
No. So when you file, right, most parties aren't filing the mediated settlement agreement and or the parenting plan. They aren't filing that agreement, right? That either you will come to agreement of some sort at mediation, and or if you go to trial on those issues, the judge will decide those issues for you. Most people don't have that. Some people do, but most don't. And why? They've never done it before. Why would they know? You know, they just kind of get in the process. And if they're lucky enough to have an attorney can be very expensive, yes, but an attorney can also help you through this process, because this is what they do. You just have to find the right attorney, just like you should find the right mediator. So typically, people just get in the process and they follow the line. You know, this is what you do next, and then you're sent something from court, and it says, okay, you're ordered to mediate on this day, and then you go to mediation, and then people would come in, and then they're like, so what do we do now? And it's you know, you've never been there before. But people can do it differently. There's no reason that folks could not sit down together on their own and go through. You can get the marital settlement agreement and the parenting plan. You can download them from the website of the court. You can sit down, and if you know how to fill them out, you can fill them out, and everybody can sign in front of a notary, and then you can include them. But what people don't know how to do it. You know, they've never done it before. Why would they want to know how to do it? And you've got to know how to do it right, you know, and people, so it can be done. Typically it isn't, you know, unless an attorney is doing it for you, and then they'll take care of it for you. It's just going to be more expensive. It's case by case, to be quite honest with you.
So if you could explain to our pro se parties or people who are unrepresented by the attorneys at this stage and they are considering a divorce, what would you be doing, you personally, with them in such a pre-suit mediation? What would you be going through with them?
The very same things that I would go through with them if it was ordered by the court. So again, right, anyone who is getting a divorce, if there are property issues that need to be, there's equitable distribution that has to happen. House, cars, debts, personal property, anything, accounts. What are we doing with all those things, right? And or if there are minor children, and sometimes there are both, right? Property and minor children. If any of those issues exist in dissolution of marriage, you must mediate those issues, right? And so we are gonna, when parties would come to me at the courthouse as a staff mediator, what I would do from A to Z is the very same thing I'm going to do for them when they come and for pre-suit mediation. We're going to do that first, though. They're not going to fill out their paperwork. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to file in court. And with me, at the very least, once we're done, I will refer them. I will advise them to consider using an attorney. It's not much more money, right? It's a nominal fee, because the only thing the attorney is doing for you is they'll do your paperwork and they will file it. Represent one of you, not both of you, but nothing can be changed at that point, right? And they will take care of anything. So people do, because when you deal with the courts, there's a whole bunch of questions you won't know, right? Who's going to do your paperwork for you? So I like to advise folks to use an attorney in that regard. Some folks, however, for whatever reason, they choose not to. Maybe they don't want to spend more money. But regardless, I can refer them to a paralegal who can do their paperwork. They should not go to someone who's giving them legal advice. But regardless, at that point, they're done with all of their issues, so long as they agree on everything. Now, if they don't agree on everything, they can still use attorneys. But whatever they don't agree upon is going to be reserved upon for determination by the court at trial. So I'm doing the same thing for them in the beginning that I would do if it was ordered. They're just doing the process in a different order, so to speak, right? And I'm their guide, is what I am, an experienced guide to help them through it.
Would you then say that going through it this way, so first going to mediation, then filing for divorce, is a less stressful, less expensive, and less stressful for the entire family and the family environment solution?
That's a very good point, Natalia. Maybe it can be for those parties who it's appropriate for those parties who can sit together and get it done amicably. Yes, it absolutely can be, right? And again, and I want to stress, always a good idea to get legal counsel and or hire an attorney if you're more comfortable. But I am a good mediator is also experienced to help parties who don't have the legal advice, right? And sometimes the parties, we get to where we can, and then it's okay. Let's continue. You go get legal advice, and let's come back another day. But the point of the matter is, it can be. But again, it's case by case. And so when I meet with folks, I'm very candid about this. And if I don't think that, I can help them, I'm not going to. I will let them know, listen, don't worry, go to court, let them do it. You'll get ordered there and go speak with an attorney. So it depends. But if it's right for them, it absolutely can be less costly, less stressful, right? A mediator has a lot to do with helping the parties through it. If you do it with good emotional intelligence and you know how to do it. Yeah. So, but case by case, Natalia, not for everybody, right? Some people need attorneys and they need to file first.
So tell me, Tye, do you think that it is worth at least trying? That's first. And second, what if they fail? Imagine people go for this pre-suit mediation and they fail. They don't reach an agreement. What then?
Well, there's no failing, right? You have to go to mediation no matter what. And so, for instance, sometimes we mediate and the parties aren't agreeing on everything. But what I will try to do is find out, well, what are you agreeing on? I can give you that agreement and we can leave the rest for court. So even if they need to get attorneys at that point, they're only going to be litigating that which we were unable to come to agreement on, right? And so it still will be a less expensive process. But again, when I speak with parties beforehand, I'm very open and candid about what this process is. And there is often, and I get plenty of calls, but I will be very honest. If I don't think I can help you, I think you may need an attorney. It's a little too, you guys are fighting. This is for parties who don't want to fight, who want to work it out, right? Ideally. And if I think that they're that kind of party, I'm happy to help them, but everybody can't do it. It's not for everybody.
Thank you so much, Tye, for all your insightful thoughts on that and for inviting people to try to settle their disputes, especially family and divorce disputes, outside of court before going to the court. And that would be it from us today on the topic, getting ready for a pre-suit divorce without attorneys. And thank you all the listeners and all those who are watching. And please remember, all this series from Tye Bourdony called Mediating with or Without Attorneys with Tye Bourdony can be followed on the YouTube channel, InstantMediations.com, and Lawyers and Mediators YouTube channel, and ultimately, it can be also followed as a podcast to listen on Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon. So be ready, be sure to follow.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you next time. Bye.